What's up, Inspired Vision Pre-Cal? Today is week 22, Wednesday. If you already titled your notebook week 22 Wednesday, all I need you to do is fold in the completed review sheet and staple it in after you finish it. You might want to wait till tomorrow to staple in though, because I'm going to let you use this review sheet on tomorrow's quiz. Okay, it is time to learn some math. So let's get to it. But I'm going to give you a clue. Every problem or every other problem, you have to guess who it is by the end of this review. So staple this into your notebook week 22 Wednesday. I have a small typo there. And again, you might want to wait until tomorrow to staple it in, because I'm going to let you use this on your quiz. I am not going to let you use any notes whatsoever on your test on Friday. Alright, here's our first question. It says to evaluate. You also might see the directions expand by minors on your homework. This means the same thing. Both problems, we are going to find the determinant. Now, there's some steps to find the determinant. The first step is to write the first two columns. Again. The next thing we're going to do is multiply going down. And we're going to take that answer and subtract multiply going up. Alright, so you take a minute and see if you know what to do. Alright, the first thing you should have is -3. The next number you should have, you have -4 times 5 times a -5, so that should be positive 100. Then you have positive 4 times -2, and then times -3. That is a positive 24. If you add all that together, you have 121. Alright, hopefully everybody has that. Now let's multiply going up. First answer is -60. What is your next answer? Next answer is -15. And then the next answer. Next answer is -8. Put all of that together. You should have -83. Okay, now we're supposed to subtract these two answers. However, when we have -83, we really add. So what do you get as your final answer? You should have A. Okay, your first clue is our mystery person has a middle name of Williams. Could be anybody. Middle name of Williams. Alright, here's our next question. This one says to use Cramer's rule. Now, I'm going to say later on in this this review, we don't always have to use Cramer's rule when doing our questions. However, this one's pretty easy, so I'm going to stick with Cramer's rule. What Cramer's rule means is we're supposed to do dx over d. So dx, actually I'm going to start with d. D is when we just take the coefficients and make it look like this. Alright, I'll finish the top in a second. If I do this, then I'm doing 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. Everybody understand? I just did the coefficients, and I did the determinant of that, so I multiply going down, minus going up, so that's 6 minus 2, and get 4. Now, the dx is when we replace this x row with these answers. So that's 2, negative 1, and I still have 1, 3. Alright, now I do it again. I multiply going down, and then I multiply going up. And I subtract those answers. But I'm supposed to subtract a negative 1, so that answer is 7. Alright, hopefully you found that easy. If this doesn't make sense to you at all, then I want you to type in this in your calculator, a 2 by 2 matrix, find the inverse of that, and then multiply by 2, negative 1, which we're going to do for our 3 by 3s when these get a little bit more complicated. Alright, moving on. Next question. Okay, all I want you to do is write dy. So this is very similar to the previous slide, except for I don't want you to find an answer. All I want you to do is write dy. So if I was to start off, my matrix would look like this. However, dy means we replace this row with these answers. So what I would want you to write on your quiz, you don't even have to find it. It's just this. This is what I'm looking for. To make sure you correctly know how to write dy. Now, if it said to find dy, we would go ahead and do this. But I didn't ask you that. I just said for you to write it. So that's all I want. Alright, your next clue is this person loves Kenny. Kenny Chesney. That's the favorite type of music for this person. Alright, number 4. This time we have to find an inverse. Alright, it's been a week since we talked about this, but I need you to edit matrix A and make it a 2 by 2 matrix. Then quit and in your calculator do matrix again and hit the X negative 1 key. Give you a second. Okay, you should have a ton of decimals if you did this right. So I need you to hit math, enter, enter. If you hit math, enter, enter, you should get your decimals converted to fractions. And your answer is C. Alright, number 5. Number 5 is like our previous problem. It says dx over d. So what we could do is write our matrices like this. Okay? If we find the determinant of the top and divide by the determinant of the bottom, we'll have our answer. Now, I think this is still very easy for you to do, but let's say you didn't want to do this. If you didn't want to do this, then I need you to edit matrix A as a 2 by 2 matrix, and then type in this, your coefficients. Then edit B as a 2 by 1 matrix, type in this. Then I need you to take the inverse of the first one, so you're doing matrix A inverse and then times B. Alright, either way, I'm giving you a minute. Let's see if we can both get the same answer, no matter how you did it. Good thing I'm not talking. I made a mistake up there. Okay. I think it's easier just to do it by hand, but if you typed it in your calculator, you should have 27 over 23. The reason why it's 27 over 23 because you have a negative divided by a negative. Alright, our next question is, this person loves chicken parm. Here's number 6. Now number 6, if you use your calculator, then you're going to edit matrix A to be a 3 times 1 matrix. And then you're going to edit B to be a 1 times 3 matrix. And then type them in. Okay? So you're going to type in A times B once you have your matrices added. Alright, if you're looking to do this by hand, it's actually pretty easy by hand. You're multiplying your row times your column. So that's your first answer, whatever these two multiply to be each other. Alright, so this is answer 1. Then you multiply your row times your column. This is answer 2. Then you multiply your row times your column. This is answer 3. And you keep doing this. This is next answer. Row times your column. And then your row times your column. You're going to just multiply these two numbers together. So it actually comes out pretty easy by hand. Alright, no matter what you did, your answer should be B. Alright, here we go. Number 7. Number 7 wants it in row echelon form. So we have to remember how to do that. Our first step is to write the matrix. Okay, our second step we're going to do is we want this 3 to become a 0. In order to make that 3 a 0, we multiply by its opposite, negative 3, times your row 1, and then add it to row 2. So that means everything in row 1 gets multiplied by negative 3. And then you add it to row 1, so you get a new matrix. But your first row doesn't change, only your second row changes. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0, Then I have negative 2 times negative 3 plus negative 5 is 1. Then I have negative 3 plus negative 16, which is negative 19. And then negative 6 plus 5 is 1. Okay, next, I keep with my third row. Alright, most likely, I'm going to give this as a multiple choice question, and you can already tell what your answer is. However, if you wanted to keep going on, because I may not give this as a multiple choice question, especially for my honors classes, then you would need to change this number right here also to a 0. The way to do that is we multiply negative 2 times row 1 and add row 3. Just bear with me if you're not in honors, okay? Just only takes a second. So we're going to multiply all this times negative 2, which does not change my first row, does not change my second row. Then I add these together, we get 1, negative 2, 39, and 10. Alright, then our next step would be to change this to a 0. The way to change that to a 0 is we take our row that has a 1 in it and multiply by its opposite. So 2 times row 2 plus row 3. And then finally, we're going to have this. This is going to be all we have to do. Because 2 plus negative 2 is 0. Then we have 19 times 2 plus 39 will give us a 1. And then 2 plus 10 gives us 12. I have a mistake. Oh, that's 11. I didn't write it right. 11 times 2 plus 10 is 32. Because I had a mistake right there. Oh, because that's positive 6 plus 5. Wow, okay, I made a mistake all the way through. But I caught it at the end. Okay? But those are the right ways to change the rows. Alright, here is your next clue. This person loves football. Loves to play football, loves to talk about football. This person loves football. Okay, here's your next question. In this question, we're supposed to solve. Since we're supposed to solve, let's use our inverse, which means we're going to type in this for matrix A. And that's a 3 by 3. And then we're going to type this. And for B, that's a 3 by 1. Then you're going to do A, negative 1 times B. Alright, give you a second to type this in, because then we got to figure out how many incorrect answers there are. That's what that means. Okay, you should have gotten 6, negative 5, and 2, which means negative 5 is wrong. So that, because we have a positive 5 there. So that means we have one mistake, and our answer is C. Alright, here's another clue, and this is a big clue, because our person we're talking about is a big person. This person is 6 foot 5 inches tall. Oh man. Alright, number 9. Number 9, we have 2 row operations that I have to do. So if I have 2 row operations, the first thing I need to do is take this whole first row, because it says row 1, and multiply by -1/7. Alright, if I take that whole first row and multiply by -1/7, you should have this. 1, -5/7. Let's change it to a fraction, I'll make it easier. Another 1, and -4/7. Okay, nothing else changed, so I'm just going to bring it down. That's step 1. Now step 2, I'm supposed to take row 1, multiply by 9. So all of this times 9, and then add it together with row 2. So that means my first row does not change. But I'm going to change my second row. So 1 times 9 plus -9. 1 times 9 plus -9 is 0. Then I need to multiply a fraction times 9. So just type this in your calculator, or multiply 9/1 and then add -3. Just remember, if you're doing it by hand, you need LCD. So type all of this in your calculator if you want. -5/7 times 9 minus 3. Kind of tricky, but I'm probably going to give you this tomorrow, because I got to make sure you can handle it. You should have -66/7. Then 1 times 9 plus 9 is 18. Then -4/7 times 9 minus 5 should have -71/7. Nothing changes in the bottom row. This is what I'll be looking for. Alright, we're down to our last question. Here is our last question. Talking about a golden triangle. Anytime we're talking about a triangle, we need to think 1/2 base times our height. But instead of our base, we're going to do 1/2 our determinant. So we need to find the determinant of this. In order to find the determinant, we need to write a matrix. So our matrix could look like this. Okay, now if I'm finding a determinant, then I'm expanding. And then I multiply going down. And then I'm going to subtract, multiply going up. So the first numbers I multiply is 0 times 120 times 1. That's pretty easy. That's just 0. Then I multiply 0 times 1 times 140. And that's also pretty easy. That is 0. Then I multiply 1 times 100 times 20. And that gives me 2,000. So our first number is 2,000. Okay, hopefully everybody's caught up. The next thing we're going to do is multiply going up. If I multiply going up, 140 times 120 is 16,800. Then that becomes a 0. and this becomes a 0. Okay, now I need to subtract these two numbers. I'm going to move back over here where I have space. 2,000 minus 16,800 is negative 16,000. I'm sorry, negative 14. $1,800. Alright, our last thing is we're taking half of this, but we're not going to take, you can either think about this multiplying by negative 1/2 or by dividing by 2. Because we can't have a negative area, so we're just going to divide by negative 2. And our final answer to this is 7,400, and they're talking about feet here. Or sorry, square miles. So that's your final answer. Alright, hopefully everybody finds that easy. Here is your last clue. This person has won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Hey, I never said they go to Inspired Vision. I just said it was a mystery person. Okay, until tomorrow.